I hate when black people disagree with other black people. They always say that you're hating. I can disagree with you. I can have my own opinion on things, and I'm not a hater. I'm just trying to uplift us as a people. So when you call me a hater, it's like, dang, I'm a hater because I'm trying to correct you. You don't want to be corrected, and that goes into there's no correction in the black community. It's almost a death sentence if you try to correct anybody, because they're gonna come at you with the hater. You a Uncle Tom. You a sellout. All of these things, but it's really to elevate us, and I don't think a lot of people are accepting of the whole elevation concept. What is going on, everyone's? We are here and we are back with another episode of
Is My Point Valid?
Yes, indeed. I am yours truly, Brandon D.
And I am Camille H. Stocker.
And like we always do before we do our thing, we want to say thank you to everyone who continues to rock with us every week. Thank you for showing up and being a part of the conversations, all the comments, all the likes, all the subscribes. We appreciate everybody. And if you are enjoying our content and you're new to our channel, make sure you hit that subscribe so you can keep up with us, because we coming to you live. Well, not live, but we come to you every week with a brand new episode about topics that truly matter in the world, in the community, and all of those things. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and jump into this episode. And the topic for today is going to be
reframing the black community.
Yes, indeed. So we had a conversation earlier this week, and we have a lot of conversations about the black community and what we can do to try to help, or what we can do to restructure the thought process of the black community. And we came to a couple conclusions. One conclusion is we're trying to affect too big of a scale. Every black person knows somebody in their family who could use some direction, some guidance, and all of that there. So we think it's better for black people to not try to reach the masses as the black community, but just start within your family and help those that are closer to you, and eventually that will pass on. Like if you have a son, teach him better, and he can be an influence on his friends or his cousins or whatever, and that will start the process of reframing the black community. Because I don't think it's realistic to say to change the black community. I think we just need to start on a small scale so we can build off the foundation to where we can have better thoughts, have better behavior, and all of that there. So that's where I think we need to start.
Yep. That's where we need to start. I think last week we had talked about how a point in the segment where we had talked about how we don't want to overstep bounds, right, in families and all of these things. And it used to be a point where in the family grandma was able to say, or get your child in line, you know.
Yeah.
Auntie was able to say, you're not supposed to be doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Uncle was.
There was correction.
Yeah. And if you look at the dynamic of the black family today, you do see some families who, are tight, but, tight. And so sometimes I wonder, well, how did they get so tight? You can look at other families who look like they're tight, but there's still turmoil within, they're still around each other, but they're not having full conversations, or
they're not having relevant conversations. I think when a lot of black families get together, it's all fun and games, because a lot of black people consider fun as drinking and smoking. So when you're doing that, you're really not having serious conversations about how to better the family.
Right, because you're going to have a good time.
Exactly.
And you don't want to, this goes to politics as well. If you don't agree with my politics, then that's a problem. Arguments pop off and all of these things, and we're not listening to one another, and then you won't see each other because so-and-so doesn't agree with what I'm saying, or they support whomever. And I think it's bigger. It's way bigger than that of politics or whatever. It is about family. And I think politics or government, whatever it is you want to call it, is tearing away at the family, because we take those things literally and seriously instead of taking each other literally and seriously. There will be people in our families who are saying they're struggling, and I'm guilty of this, because we don't want to be bothered, we be like, you got to figure it out on your own. Mm-hmm. You have to figure it out instead of trying to help. Yeah. Instead of trying to be like you said, extend your hand to help. And so,
and a lot of times we think help is monetary gains, but help can be information.
Yes.
You don't always have to give money to help someone. And on the flip side of that, the person that is in the struggle can't always expect help to come in the form of money.
Right.
Because information is a lot of times more valuable than actually having the money. And that's, just for instance, like you can give someone $1 million, and if they don't have the information or the knowledge to know how to invest or hold on to that money or spend it wisely, then you're really just spinning your wheels. And I think that's why a lot of people don't like giving money to people in need, because they may be in need. The reason they may be in need is not because they don't make enough money. It may be because they just don't know how to manage it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah.
And so I think that has to do with it. And so, like Brandon said, we want to go big, right? We want to go out, and we always want to help, that child.
It's the black community.
It's the black community. And I think the black community, when I say the black community, and of course, if you know, we live in Texas, in Houston. Yeah. So I am not talking about solely acres homes, solely the hood places or the ghettos, or where there is just everywhere that black people reside, where the black people reside. That is that is the black community. Because I am a black woman, I am a part of the black community. My children will one day soon have to go into the world where they are part of the black community, where if they see some black person who doesn't know, they should be able to help them. Not saying they shouldn't help anybody else, because I teach my children, you help all people, right? But if you see a black person struggling, I think that's a big thing in the community. We don't help each other.
Yeah. Yeah, we're more inclined to talk down on you because that person is not on your level,
or sometimes because, and then we'll get to the next thing. When growing up, when I went to another city with my cousin and my sisters, and even in Houston with my mama, we be out and we dress differently, right? Our hair is combed and all this. And then you go into a store, and there will be certain black people who look at you like you are
a house Negro.
Not even just like they looked at us. They looked at us like we were better than them, but that had nothing to do with it. It was just, my mama said, when you leave out this house, you look presentable. Absolutely. Your hair is combed. And
you don't have a doggone the shower cap, what they call it, the bonnet. The bonnet, yeah.
Like you present yourself to the world. How do you? And when you present yourself this way, that is how people should,
People will treat you according to how you dress. If you're out there looking ghetto, you can't get mad if somebody talk to you ghetto. But if you look presentable, you kind of have a leg to stand on if somebody talk to you crazy.
But so people would look upside our heads or whatever, and all these things. And I'm just like, what is this about? Because I'm going in the store. I'm not really bothered about you. I'm bothered about what I'm going in the store to get. Absolutely. If you're wearing whatever it is that you're wearing, if you made the decision to leave out of your home with what you had on, stand in it. Mm-hmm. Stand in it, because you did it.
That was you.
It's all you.
That was the decision that you made.
Stand in it, but don't look at me like, why she thinks she. No, I don't. this is what I have to wear and this is what I'm going to wear. Okay. So that's what it is. And so helping starts within the family.
And that goes into, we need to start making better decisions. A lot of people out here don't value the power of the mind. Like, there are philosophers out there who have said, in the Bible, he who thinketh, so shall be. Mm-hmm. So if you're listening to the hip hop and you're listening to all this trap music and all these things there, and not actually educating yourself on what's available to you out here in the real world, then you only have a mindset of what you're consuming.
Yep.
And I mean, right now, a lot of black people are listening to, like I said, the rap music, the trap, what they call the drill music and all of that stuff. And if you're filling yourself up with all of these things, you're gonna have kind of like a negative connotation on a lot of things in your surroundings.
Because a lot of that, I've listened to rap, but a lot of what I think is happening in the music today is a lot of anger.
Absolutely. And I seen a meme, a video on, I think it was TikTok or whatever it was. He was saying how we go to black people go to just people, period, go to the club and listen to the music, and we're wondering why we can't have a good time. But that's because we're listening to devil music. We're listening to people talk about killing each other and fighting each other and getting over on each other. And we're wondering why we have a mind of anger. Mm-hmm. It's in the things we were consuming.
It was in the things we were consuming when we were listening to stuff with Nuck If You Buck.
Lil Jon.
Tear the Club Up.
Exactly.
That was...
A lot of that stuff, if you really listen to it, a lot of it is demonic.
Yes, I've been saying that about music.
I seen a little on TikTok. I seen a video about 3 6 Mafia, DJ Paul, and the music that I was listening to.
And you have to think about, well, if you listen to the stories that they tell of how they got that narrative,
absolutely,
of what they were doing,
it was drugs.
They were in another. What's the song Fabo did with the
spaceships on Bankhead.
Yes. Dang, I wish I remembered how it went right now. Yeah, there we go. So he's on drugs.
Yeah.
And he's saying he's seeing some unidentified object.
Even with the Ghetto Boys.
My mind playing tricks on me. All of it. And
we are just consuming ourselves with this type of content, and then wonder why we go out and look at other black people and look at this people, period, and have animosity towards other people. But it's in your conscience.
Yeah.
You have subconsciously just sucked in all of this information, and you don't have any other reference to kindness or love or anything like that. I remember back in the day, we used to listen to love songs.
I think that's all we listened to with my daddy.
So we would show love to people that would treat us not so desirable, and we would still show love because that was in our heart, in our soul, in our conscience.
Because, I mean, and I think all of us, if we black and we went to like family reunions, Frank Mays and Frankie Beverly, that was going to be played. Mm-hmm. Isley Brothers was going to be played. But you had the happy feelings if you go back to Mays, and that's not being played anymore.
No, it's not.
And even at family functions, you have the people, whoever's in charge of the music. You're not playing that anymore. You playing what's new, and grandma's sitting there like, hold on now, what you doing? It's and respect, like all of these things. It does.
And that's what we're not teaching our children, respect. We're not passing on respect, and it's kind of hard to pass on things that you don't possess yourself. So if your parents didn't teach you respect, you going out here having these children and you have no connection to the right things, so you can't pass that on. And that goes into educating yourself enough to know the difference between right and wrong, and knowing when to teach those things to your children. So, educating yourself, we have to change the things that we're listening to, because that is consuming our minds. And just like D1, my boy D1 from New Orleans, he was calling out rappers who actually glorify, he calls it murder music. And when he addressed these people, the people didn't even consider where he was coming from. They just automatically jump on the defensive and was like, bro, you don't know me. I give out turkeys. I do all of this. But if you're still, the people, like he said, there's more people downloading your music than they are eating your turkeys, or taking your bikes, or all of this. And that comes from the kingpin lifestyle of Frank Lucas and Bumpy Johnson. They did all these terrible things in the community, but they felt it was all right because once a year, twice a year, they would give out things. And that is the wrong attitude. And I congratulate my boy. Well, he ain't my boy, but I feel like he's my boy because, you know what I'm saying, he talks about the things that need to be talked about. D1. Mm-hmm. He's out here trying to reframe the black culture, reframe black music, hip hop, to where we're actually glorifying the right things, glorifying unity, coming together and doing powerful things within ourselves so we can advance as a community. And when he talks like that, it's people who come at him like, oh, you hating on me. And that's another thing. I hate when black people disagree with other black people. They always say that you're hating. I can disagree with you. I can have my own opinion on things, and I'm not a hater. I'm just trying to uplift us as a people. So when you call me a hater, it's like, dang, I'm a hater because I'm trying to correct you. You don't want to be corrected. And that goes into, there's no correction in the black community. It's almost a death sentence if you try to correct anybody, because they're going to come at you with the hater, you a Uncle Tom, you a sellout, all of these things. But it's really to elevate us. And I don't think a lot of people are accepting of the whole elevation concept.
And they're not accepting of the elevation concept because I think, in my opinion, they believe that elevation only has to do with money. That elevation does not have to do with your mind, right? Yeah. What you're reading, what you're writing down, how you're helping people. A big thing that is detrimental in the black community is money, because we glorify it a lot. That's the
only definition of success to a lot of black people.
We glorify it a lot. We look up to so many people and we want to make it. Everybody wants to make it. Yeah. And the reality of it is everybody is not going to make it. Just like they say,
not successful.
Right. Yeah. Just like they say, that nowadays every little boy isn't going to make it to the NFL or to the NBA, which is true. Well, let's be clear that every little boy and girl is not going to be a doctor. Absolutely. Every little boy and girl is not going to be a teacher, right? That there are other opportunities that are not being presented into the black community for us to learn. Hey, work with your hands. Oh, go be a janitor. Like, we look at those things as, but somebody has to do it. And maybe if we put more effort into wanting to do those jobs, that those could be high paying jobs or what you got.
Because at the end of the day, even though you're starting out as a janitor, that can give you the skills to start your own company. So you are on a higher level. Yep. But we're not even willing to put the work in to start at the bottom and work our way up. We want to just jump into the game at the top. And that's another unrealistic expectation. You're going to have to work. You're going to have to educate yourself so you have that understanding of what it takes to get to the top. Yep. And when you try to skip all of those steps, you get to the top and you have no knowledge of what's going on, no understanding, no comprehension. So
you just want to be the boss.
Exactly.
You just want to be the leader.
You just want to be perceived as the boss. And being a boss is more than having that position.
I'm being ugly to people.
Exactly. You can't just talk down to people. You need to have the mindset of I treat the person at the bottom the same as I treat the person at the top. I give everybody equal opportunity when it comes to my respect, because you never know where that person is going to end up. Because there are some black people out here who will work hard and know that you have to start at the bottom. And if you are above them and you talking down on them, by the time they get to where they're going, you're going to probably need them.
Absolutely.
And they're going to remember all of those things that you said to them. And then, I mean, we got to do better.
I used to work with at the store. And the janitor, I think he was special needs or whatever, but everybody would whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I talked to people.
Overlook them.
I didn't overlook him. And he would talk my ear off. I'm like, all right, I got to go to work now. I got to go to work. But that person felt safe with me to have a conversation. Hey, Camille, what do you think about this? Hey, Camille, how are you doing? Hey, Camille, I'm having this type of day. And that is what that's what we need more of. Mm-hmm. Instead of us thinking, I'm better than you because I'm not in that position. But like, that's what makes the world go round. I mean, the little people. the little
another
people.
Flawed person that showed their flaw within that is I was watching Michael Todd and his nonsense, but he was saying how a lot of church people will say I'm blessed about because of this, I'm blessed about that, and then he proceeded to say, but you on welfare. So that is a major flaw. You can't put blessings or success out of the window because this person is not financially stable. Like, everybody doesn't see money as success. Some people are working on a smaller scale, so they do perceive what they're doing as successful. They just haven't gotten to your level of success. And when you talk down on them, it's kind of discouraging to that person because they're trying to get to that level. Even though you are on that level, you still need to encourage, you still need to give advice, try to help that person to advance.
And what is a blessing, right? Like God, and what is a blessing? For me, every day that I get to wake up, that's a blessing. So although some people might be on welfare, some people might have $2 in their account, you woke up today. God chose you to wake up to see another day and figure something out. I'm here. If I got to eat a piece of bread and some jelly or something, I have something to eat.
Yeah, that's success.
I have a half a tank of gas. I can make it to work for the rest of the week, or I can ask some, like, those are blessings. And
it's all in your mind. It's all in how you think about things, because no matter what situation you're in, there's always someone who's low, who's dealing with it more than you are. Mm-hmm. So you have to be content,
that's the word. Mm-hmm.
with the things that you do have, and be appreciative of what you do have, and stop always looking at the things that you don't. Because when you go into life with a negative mindset and you're always wondering why I don't have this,
but God, what do you have?
God will start taking some things away from you you do have, and then that'll help you realize what you had. Be like they say, you never know what you got until it's gone. You don't want to be in that position when it comes to, you went from a little bit of food to no food. You went from having a shelter over your head to being on the streets, because there's always a worse position. We cry and bicker about all the things that we don't have. You woke up this morning. That's a blessing. You had something to eat. That's a blessing. You have children who have something to eat. That's a blessing. You have knowledge and education. That's also a blessing. Stop putting money as ahead of all success, because that's retarded. And we don't need to think like that, because that is what got our children thinking that they have to be basketball players and football players, and they have to.
With that, it's not even being basketball players or football players. It's about having the latest Jordans, right? Having the nicest tracksuits, looking like you got money. What is it? I said tracksuits, Lord. sweatsuits.
And Nike sweatsuits.
Nike sweatsuits.
Yeah.
Having, Ralph Lauren, the polo, having these things. That does not mean anything. That doesn't mean nothing.
And the wealthiest people, you never know it because they wear regular clothes. Wranglers.
Yeah, I mean, so those, we put these things and say, hey, what you possess in material things makes you worthy, which is not true.
No, it's not.
Because we're not worthy anyway. But that doesn't mean, those earthly possessions don't mean anything, because when you come back and we got to bow and all those things, we cannot take any of this with us, right? We can't take any of it with us. And so we're here trying to build the most wealthiest, or we want to have the biggest houses. And that's a big thing that's happening in Black communities, where they're moving out of the neighborhood and moving into this big 2,000 square foot home, and you on one side and your children on one side, and it's so much.
It's really not a family atmosphere. It's like your roommates with people.
It's so much.
You're talking to each other on the intercom.
It's like, I want that because I see that they have that, and that's not how you're going to reframe the Black community. If it was going to be reframed by those people who we look up to, I have to include myself, who I have looked up to and who you do look up to, it's never going to happen because we're waiting on them. They put their names on things. Like right now, if you go, I think it's in Brooklyn. If you go to Brooklyn, there's a library, and the library is Jay-Z. But what did he contribute to Marcy, the projects, right? What is Beyonce contributing back into Third Ward? Yes, there's the nose. And we're not
insinuating that he hasn't done anything. We're just asking questions.
Yes, that's all. I'm just asking a question. Like, but we have all these stakes in, basketball teams and baseball teams and football teams. But what you say? Well, the Black people matter. Do we? Like, do they? To whom? So that takes us into making education a priority, because right now it's not a priority. So like I just said, they're naming a library after Jay-Z, but how many children are going to go into that library to check out these books, right? Once the little opening thing was over, how many people are going to go back every weekend to check out books and say, hey, let me read to my child. Hey, you read to me. What?
I think that his library is less about education and more about a status. I don't believe that there are going to be a lot of people that go there solely based on getting books. I think they're going to go there as if it's a monument, like a George Washington monument, something like that, to go online and be like, I was Jay-Z.
There.
Yeah,
I take a picture.
Yeah,
to take a picture.
Absolutely. I don't think it's about education. Because if it was about education, he could have done a whole bunch of other things besides put his name on the building. The library that was already
I'm saying his
there.
Name. It's lyrics from a song that are
and a lot of his lyrics is bull jive.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're glorifying someone who glorifies selling dope.
Yes.
Getting over on people. And all of these negative things that hip hop provides to people. So is that really a good thing?
When I initially saw it, no, because my mind always goes to, dang, them folks, they gonna go check out them books, right? Or they, is it gonna be more traffic?
You didn't hear them with an article about they had a record number of people getting books. It was just a record turnout because he opened it, and like I say, it was a library that was already there.
Yeah, so is it going to be more?
He just plastered his stuff over it.
Like, is it going to be like, I'm a homeschool mom, so is it going to be more activities for homeschoolers in New York to go and have access to this? Is it going to be more access to laptops that they can take home, computers, the printers?
Look at my face.
I don't even know how the New York library system works. Because Houston's system it's pretty dope, you know? So I don't know how that works. I'm just asking like resources. We talk about resources and how we want to help. And, you know, I'm always one for trying to give a resource or have a book, give a kid a book.
Straight up.
Not just any type of book,
and
but a book.
Make sure the kid knows how to read first. And that gets us into our next issue with the Black community and how we can begin to reframe it.
Well, making education a priority. Like one of the first things that Brandon said, reading, which I looked up, and it says 2/3 of U.S. children are unable to read at proficiency level, right? That's 2/3 of however many children there are in the USA. That is 60%. 2/3.
2/3 would be 70%.
2/3 is 70.
Whatever 2/3 is, whatever percentage that is, it's 2/3. So that means there's more people who can't read than there are children that can. So that's the problem. We don't value education anymore, and I think that's why a lot of the teachers don't get the money that they are requesting, because people don't value them as educators. People don't value education. And nowadays, when kids go to school, it's more of a social hour than anything. It's more of a fashion. Well, it's not even fashion, because these kids go to school wearing anything.
Man, I watched something on TV today. Them kids weren't matching nowhere.
They be wearing doggone flip-flops
like
and halter tops,
just sweats and a hoodie. And man, y'all, okay.
Back in the day, we was trying to see who was the flyest.
Look, we wore uniforms, but we still look like...
You got to starch it up.
Your shoes, your purse, your backpack, your hair, like those things don't matter no more.
So if they don't value how they look, you think they going in there? Man, say.
It was interesting.
The education system will give them the numbers on how many Black students.
Right. And so 85% of Black students lack proficiency in reading skills. And this is information from the NAEP, which is the National Assessment of Educational Progress. So they document how each state is doing.
For all those people who question us on where we're getting our numbers from, there you have it.
Where are you getting this? I'm looking it up.
Straight up. I'm on the same internet that you on looking at my stuff.
So 85% of Black students lack proficiency, and that is a lot. That is a lot. And so my question is...
That's most.
That is most. And how you not know how to read? How are parents missing this? And then it's 85% in reading skills, but it's 84% of Black students lack proficiency in math.
They can't read and they can't do math. And we worried about doggone rap music and going to the club and being looking like we got some money. But how can you get money if you have no education? How are you going to excel in life if you have no education? That lets us know that we are worried about the wrong things. Not you.
Children know how to do the TikToks and all this. And now I'm not saying that children aren't making the grades, but are they making the grade? And what I mean by that is it's easy, I think, for teachers to pass students, but are they really doing the work? Is there homework? I don't even know if there's homework anymore because, of course, my children are not in the school system. So
they probably outlawed homework because people complain too much about work.
I was reading an article today about the HISD takeover, which is the Houston Independent School District takeover, where there are certain schools in this program who were failing in Houston. And one of the schools is called Kashmere High School. And in the article, the journalist was interviewing the children. And this one boy said, all we do is work, 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 work. And
that boy was some Rihanna.
Yeah, he was. And I was
flabbergasted.
Flabbergasted.
I was flabbergasted.
Yeah. Like, isn't that why we go to school to learn?
If you don't want to work when you're at school, then we can't expect you to work out here in this real world. You are not prepared.
Right. And that is what school is.
School is for preparation for real life.
So what do you think?
If you aren't prepared to be in school, then real life is going to be a real challenge for you.
Like, you know, you have to go to work, you have to wake up at a certain time and work this shift, right? Like to make money.
Absolutely.
Everybody, and
you got to show up on time too.
I also need the narrative that everybody can be an entrepreneur. That's not realistic.
No, it's not.
I used to think it was, and then I woke up. That's not realistic.
I was asleep. And then I
woke up. Everybody's not going to be an entrepreneur. Everybody is not going to be a boss. Everybody's not going to be a leader, right? There has to be some followers. Not saying that you can't succeed at your job or whatever it is, but like, everybody's not going to be.
That's why they have followers on social media and not leaders. Because they know most people are followers. Most people aren't leaders. So there are some people who know how to lead that are good at leading, but the majority of people are merely followers.
Like jobs are necessary. You're seeing, are they
regular jobs, 9 to 5, McDonald's, stuff like that.
These Gen Z, are they Gen Zers? The one
I don't know what they are.
I think it's Gen Zers.
Just give a name.
I think there's group. I don't know the age group. Well, whoever's graduated college, and they are thinking that, I need to, like you were saying about not working your way from the bottom to the top. They think that because I have this degree, I need to go into this office space and I need to make $100,000 a year without any experience. Of course, we make the jokes when we look on job sites and be like, you need 5 years of whatever. But it's like they want you, go be an intern, go make your way.
Oh, they definitely ain't willing to work for no money.
Yeah.
So is interning still a thing?
Interning is still a thing. And a lot of the interns that I have seen, they do get paid a little bit. But y'all got to remember, Kim Kardashian was an intern.
Making nothing.
Who else? There was somebody else.
I know a lot of lawyers and stuff like that. Doctors intern, lawyers are interns, stuff like that. But I don't know any personally.
And so, I think within the Black community and the community, everybody, you have to teach your children responsibility.
Absolutely.
You have to discipline. That is how you reframe the community. So we can't go in and say, I want to change this. We got to reach at least one kid.
And that kid is more than likely in your family.
One child.
One child.
Kid. A kid is a goat.
Yeah. We need to start on the smallest scale possible. We can't expect to, like my boy Charleston White say, you can't go out here in the community and affect anything when you got a cousin that you don't get along with. You got all this trauma from your childhood with your mama and your daddy. You got daddy issues and all of that stuff there. So you can't affect people on a big scale if you haven't first looked at yourself in the mirror and figured out what's going on with you first. Address your own issues. Then you can start addressing people that's close to you's issues. And then from there, if everybody, just imagine, everybody addressed their own issues first and then started connecting with people close to them. Eventually, that'll be the community. So we have to stop thinking that we have to reach millions of people at one time. You need to reach one person at a time and then build from there. And then eventually you'll be at 1 million people, 100,000 people, 1 million people, whatever it is. But start within and then move outwards.
I mean, that is what I came to when I was talking to you this week. I was just like, it's been on my heart, Brandon. It's been on my heart because I think for me personally, my thing has always been, like I said last week, I don't want to overstep my bound. I don't want to do this, but it's silly of me to have this knowledge, to have access to all of these things and say, I'm going to wait for somebody else to come to me to ask me for help.
Sometimes you got to take the initiative.
Right. That's a little stupid.
Because everybody doesn't have that progressive mindset that you do. So some people feel like they there's a lot of people who have egos and are stuck on, I don't want help from such and such person. But it's on us, the people who know better, to start reaching people regardless of how that person feels, because I see that you're in need.
Yes.
If I see that you're in need, what kind of person am I to just let you continue to just be lost?
Right. And then if I reach out and you say, tell me no, then I understand. I took
the proper steps.
The initiative, yes.
Exactly.
The initiative.
To make it happen. Now, if you don't want it to happen after that, then, hey, I feel better. I can sleep at night because I at least tried.
But then that's on their mind. She wants to help me,
yeah.
right? They want to help me. I haven't been in this position where she wanted to help me. But I have wanted, you get what I'm saying? I have wanted to help, but I don't want to say anything because
you don't want to overstep your boundaries.
Right. And I don't want you to take advantage of me. Right.
Absolutely.
So that's always been a thing too. But when do we become unselfish? When do we become unselfish? And there is a lot of selfishness in the Black community because we think about I. And as much as I read my Bible, as much as I pray, as much as how much I am connected with God, I am a selfish human being. I am a selfish human being. I have to, repent for that. But now I am learning. All right, God, I see it.
Especially if you've been placed in a situation where you can see what's going on.
Yeah, that's eyes open, right? Looking at a situation and saying, I have these resources.
It's easy to stay hands off when you're on the outside and you haven't seen what's going on the inside.
Or nobody's telling you because
they don't want no accountability for the situations. So they kind of keep you on the outskirts so you don't see what's going on so they can tell you anything.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
but once you see it, it's almost like it compels you to want to do something for that individual.
And I feel so compelled.
That's what I'm saying.
I feel so compelled because we need each other. And I think a lot of us miss that a lot. We want to do things on our own and we dig into a hole. We dig ourselves into holes and we try to pull ourselves out of it. And we need help.
Sometimes you got to reach out.
And the Black community needs help. So it's not about going out to the masses and saying, hey, you need to change and you need to stop doing that and you need to stop doing this. It starts in our homes, which you've always said before. Now, when I always said I'm doing what I'm doing for my children, that was selfish too, because I know other children who are close to me who I could reach out to and say, hey, I got you.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I have you.
It does no good for you to have the information and the resources and to hold on to them. Because at the end of the day, like you said before, you can't take any of this stuff with you. So you might as well pass some of it on to someone who can benefit after you're gone. And with that information, if you take the initiative to pass it on, then it's like reciprocity. They'll feel the need to pass it on to somebody else and then somebody else and then somebody else. And like I said, by the time it gets to all of those people, that is reaching the masses.
Yeah.
That is the Black community.
Got to have an open mind too, to want that acceptance from other people who want to help you, who genuinely want to help, right? Don't hold it hostage and be like, I'm holding on to this. We have to let it go. How is the next generation of Black children going to do better if we don't relinquish what we know, right? Yeah. If our grandmothers know something, that should have went to our parents and our parents should have gave it to us. And now we give it to our children and our children will give it to their children. This is generation. This is a generational thing.
Unlike that popular saying, the saying should have been the game is to be told, not sold. So stop trying to always sell people information that you obtain for free. Give that information out, and I guarantee the monetary gain to come on the back end. You can't always want your monetary gain on the front. Sometimes it comes later on. So we need to be able to give out that information and have that information passed on, like I said, and that's the Black community. It's simple as that. We can't be out here trying to reach a lot of people and looking over the people that are closest to us. You can't be on the internet trying to reach millions of people and you have all the flaws that you're trying to speak about or speak to is right there up under your nose. It makes no sense. Your people need help. You need help. So help yourself.
Because within that, you trying to help somebody else. That person might have something that you need. Like, it's in the family. Reciprocity. It is in the family, where we come together and we make sure that the family is good. And like Brandon said at the height of the show, when the Black family is good, the Black community goes, because we're teaching our children. And that's who's next.
So it's all in the mind. We need to start valuing the things. I'm reading this book. It's called Think and Grow Rich, A Black Choice. I recommend that book because in the first chapter, it talks about how powerful your mind is. And if we're not thinking positively, thinking goals, thinking morals and values, then we'll fall victim to a lot of things that we shouldn't really be falling into. It's all about educating yourself to have the proper knowledge to be able to be successful in not only just money, but in your mind, because that's where it starts. So we need to start valuing the things that we get for free, like your mind, your body, your dreams, ambitions, your family thing, all of these things. If you start valuing those things, then like I said, that is helping the Black community in ways that you never thought possible. So that's where we need to start at.
And teach these children how to read.
Absolutely.
Stop being,
that's family.
That is family. And stop being so dependent on a teacher to teach that. You can go reiterate things at home too. Go over it until they get it. Reach out. There are several teachers in my family. And I know that if I went to any one of them to ask whatever, I know there would be help, right? I haven't reached out to anybody to help, but I know there would be help. If you have that in your family and you need help, man, ask for help.
Ask for help. Stop being so prideful.
Yes.
Set that pride aside. There's nothing that's going to hold you back more than pride. We don't need that in our lives. We need to be humble beings. And I know a lot of people have thrown out this screwed definition of humble about how it's not a good thing, but being humble is a good thing. We need to be humble. We need to start reaching out to people when we need it. And the people who have it need to start reaching out to people who don't. And I mean, that's how I think we can help the Black community ultimately. Mm-hmm. And yeah, you got anything else?
I would just start with the family. Get your mind right. Get that in order. Get yourself in order. And that's how that's how the change is gonna come.
Yeah,
changing behavior. That's how the children will change their behavior.
Mm-hmm. Be better parents. We always talk about parenting. You got to be better parents to have better children.
What you listen to.
Yeah.
What you watch. What you consume. What's on your phone. Mm-hmm. Video games.
All of that.
Start off with what is most important to you and your family.
Yeah. And with that being said, we once again thank you to everyone who continues to show up for us. We appreciate it. We are growing. And if you want to help us grow in any way, you can donate to us through our Cash App is $Stocker Family. If you just want to show us love in the comments, do that. You can reach us at stockerfamily0414 at Gmail. I think it is. It's all in the comment. I mean, it's all in the description. But thank you to everyone who rocks with us. We're going to continue to come every week with another topic about how we can help each other, how we can come together and just do better. So, like always, it's love, peace, and soul.
Bye.
Like Soul Train, baby.